And Bitcoin also has a constitution, making it the first democratic social network. On the 31st of October 2008, an anonymous person with the pen name Satoshi Nakamoto had published a special document on the internet, calling it the Bitcoin White Paper. On the same day, almost 500 years after Martin Luther had published his 95 Theses and revolutionized the Catholic Church, hinting at the great power of a document to revolutionize the world. 2 months later, the first block was created, following the instructions of the white paper. In short 9 pages, it describes the rules, roles, and actions of the Bitcoin network. Now we already know the actions that the blockchain does, so let's move on to study the roles of the Bitcoin network. In other social networks, everyone gets one standard role to play: a user who can add posts and comments to the network. But the Bitcoin network splits the user into 3 distinct roles. The first role is to be a miner. The miner writes new blocks and creates new bitcoins for the network. He is called a miner because he mines for new bitcoins. The second role is called the key holder. The key holder writes comments in the Bitcoin network, passing bitcoins from himself to other key holders. He is called a key holder because he holds the keys, the password to the bitcoins. So that's the role that you are going to play if you ever buy bitcoins. But most importantly, the Bitcoin network creates a new, unique role for its users that's called a node. The node is doing what, up until now, only the owners of the network could do. They are the platforms and the inspectors of the network, and they act as a bridge between the key holders and the miners. Together, these 3 players create the blockchain, while following the rules of the white paper. Let me show you how they work together. First, key holders write new comments and pass them to the nodes, who inspect them and then pass them to the miners. The miners write new bitcoins and add the new comments to their block. Then they compete the block who will finish the block ID first. And then they pass the finished block to the nodes, who inspect it, and if it's valid, save it to their computer and share it with the rest of the users of the network. And then the cycle begins again. And here we find the answer: where is the blockchain? It's inside the computers of the nodes. But who can be a node? Anyone who wants to. The very first nodes were Satoshi and his friends. They wrote the rules of the network and then started to create it, writing new blocks and adding comments to the network. But as time went on, more people joined the network and the blockchain grew. Today, 100 million people are key holders, 100,000 are miners, and 150,000 are nodes. And the blockchain itself is about 500 gigabytes. But these numbers continue to grow. Anybody who wants can join this network and become a part of it, no matter who they are or where they are from. And it is possible that one day there will be 8 billion key holders. When we look at the structure of the Bitcoin network from above, we can see how similar it is to the structure of a democratic government. Although their purpose is very different, in both systems there is a reliance on a constitution to manage the network, and there is no single king or company that rules over the network and can do whatever they want. But how can we make sure that all of the users follow the rules of the Bitcoin network? How can we protect it from fraud and cheaters? The answer is cryptography. But what is cryptography? To answer this question, I interviewed a leading cryptographer, Professor Raymond.